That's your realtor, no,
What's that?
that's your realtor. I don't think that that's.
How do you, when you call somebody, how do you build rapport with somebody or build a relationship with somebody?
You ask them how their day, ask them questions about themselves, how you guys are doing.
You just said the answer.
Ask them about themselves.
Ask them questions.
Yeah, ask them questions.
Oh yeah, that's a great unit. I heard you talking about it on
Yeah.
Surf. I've seen that unit. Are you guys looking to buy? Are you looking for a home in that area? Are you looking for a condo there? Were you looking because you're gonna buy something? You're asking questions. So, you know, what are you looking for? Thank you.
So when you ask questions, it seems like they engage more with you than when you.
Always.
Hi, my name's Shane Johnson. I work for Keller
Yeah.
Williams Realty.
No.
I was a top agent in California. I moved my business out here, and how would you like me to represent you? No, for organic.
What's that?
It's not organic.
It's not.
That approach.
Ask questions, get curious, be curious. People want to tell you about what's going on with them.
That's how I prefer
Most-
to ask your questions.
Yeah, see, that's right. Okay, so build rapport, ask questions, that opens the door. It's very non-threatening.
Can we get this slide up there?
Yes. Do I need to stay the co-host? Do we care? Hi, who's with us? Maka and Karen. Hi, you guys.
Hi there.
Okay, wait, yeah, let me minimize these guys. Sorry, we were so late in getting you on. It's okay. I would like to say that we recorded, but we didn't. So you will.
Oh, you
have
did
great material. I'm basically going through what's in your booklet. Okay, so approach, connect, and ask. Approach.
Connect.
Hey, I heard you talking about da da da. Connect. I've seen that unit. I've previewed that unit. I know that building. That's a great building. What did you like about it?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
Yeah.
And see what they say. Okay. Aha, so far.
I got a good list. The Facebook for opens, time blocking, very important. I plan on doing that this week. You like setting appointments, so.
Yep.
Adapting my owner, letter.
Yes.
Include, I'll go hold my open house and, who do you know that might entertain an offer? And, the inventory's tight, and, would you be interested in purchasing?
Great.
That one.
Fantastic.
So that one goes into my.
It's a great letter.
It goes into my owner letter.
I love it.
This is it also.
And calling is the best way to follow up with those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get their phone numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Build
So
your own.
I plan on tying all these together.
No.
Here's what else. It's fine. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
We're gonna just sit behind people, so don't shake yourself from there.
I didn't have anything to
No.
add.
Okay, you got some of the same ones?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we talked about prospecting versus marketing. You want to read that, Bill?
Lead generation is a simple sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing.
Good. Contact sport. Okay, so this is a cool little graph. You guys have probably seen this in a prior class. Does this look familiar to you?
Yeah.
This, I really like this. This was something our VP of industry, Jason Abrams, came up with, which kind of this very simple, but it really shows you, a lot of people say real estate is cyclical and things go up and down, but buyers and sellers are looking to do things all the time. So when we say, you may hear sometimes people say, well, how often are people moving, right? Or relocating? Are they going to be looking to buy and sell from the point that they buy and sell? 7 to 10 years is a very common thing people say. It's gotten shorter, and depending on what group of buyers you're in, could be a lot shorter, right? But we've seen that get shorter over time, whereas people used to stay in their property for their whole lives or a really long time, it's kind of shrunk. So 7 to 10 years, let's just say for the sake of this graph, that's how long it is before they hit those moving points. So likelihood of a move on the left, time on the bottom. So what are those little points, do you think?
Which points are you speaking of?
these little lines.
Those are increasing likelihood that they are going to want to make them. So as you go up that, starting at the bottom, the closer you get to the move one, the more motivated they would be to move. So like, let's say you have a farm of 100 homes and they just all were built, you're not gonna have a high likelihood of that year or within the next couple of years of them moving. But if you had a new home tract that's getting aged, let's say 5 years old, then you might want to take a look at it, because within our time period, the next 5 years, most of them, according to the statistics, are gonna make the move.
Great, so yes, you are correct that, so these are people that are kind of on that path up to where they were, right? Like, so this person is most likely gonna buy or sell here, and they're here on the chart. Does that mean that you don't talk to this person?
No.
It's actually a really good time to build a relationship where they're really open to it, because they're not in the market and they're not really sensitive. And depending on how you approach them, you have an opportunity to build a very genuine relationship. And this is your long-term nurturing. And you never know. And who are they going to refer to you that's going to buy or sell in the meantime? So yeah, you always want to, these are your opportunities to connect with people. And it's not, you don't only want to look for somebody who might be most likely to buy or sell. Although, sure, there are lead programs that you can sign up for that are going to use algorithms and AI to help you figure that out. And a lot of people do that. A lot of teams do that. And they go, well, I'm going to use this because this is, you know, these are the algorithms. Another thing, obviously, is somebody who raises their hand who has a digital footprint that looked for property online. Okay, Google pay-per-click or Zillow or whatever. Yes, question.
When can we start automating the prospecting to AI? So
So it's already now.
so where they can start prospecting for you.
Yeah, they can now. You just have to pay for it.
How much is it?
It depends what program you're in. There's various programs, so you can pay for. So there's one program called Offers, OFFRS, that's on the list side, and you can buy an area with them, like a farm area, and they use AI that searches for things like public records. What are those estimated timeframes? And they'll give you a list. They'll say, you say, I want this farm of, 1,000 people. I mean, that's a big one, but let's just say 1,000 people. Who are the people? And they'll give you the top 10%. I don't remember what it is, but who they think based on when they bought, what kind of fine, if they refied or whatever they're doing online, their online activity. Obviously somebody who's looking at property somewhere else is going to go up to their top of the list, and they'll say, here's the, so that when you're doing farming, and the purpose of this program, which is a great idea, is, well, I want to farm to this whole subdivision or complex, but there's a lot of homes in here and it's very expensive. So instead of spending thousands of dollars
Right.
to market to these guys, I could spend hundreds of dollars to market to this list,
A specific list.
right? You can also do that research on your own
Right.
with the title companies. It's just time consuming or whatever. So you can do that with that. You can also buy buyer leads. You can do Google pay-per-click. You can do a Boomtown. You can do a Zillow. You can buy people that are looking online.
We
And
did Zillow once. We
Mhm.
got one
Yeah,
buyer
we did it for a year.
Yeah.
yeah,
we did, but it was like $500 a month.
yeah. So it's a formula. I mean, there's like different ways. We have leads programs for agents, and we're always, looking at, we have cycles of when it grows and when we're adding agents. I'm always looking at more and more things to do to add more.
More, because three of them cost us absolutely no money. The
Mhm.
open house,
That's right.
referrals, and social media.
Yeah,
They're-
prospecting, pick up the phone, go show up somewhere, networking.
Yeah, and then our fourth one is mailings to the owners that we.
Yep.
Of the complex.
Sounds a little bit pricier.
But the mailers, remember, and I can't stress this enough, any farming mailers that you do, follow up with phone calls and circle prospect them, because your conversion rate will go up and it'll be faster.
Okay, when you say mailers, are you referring to letters or are you referring to postcards?
Letters, personal
yeah.
letters to the owner stating that, it's gonna be pointed to specific owners that wanna sell because we have a buyer for it. So this complex, we have a buyer, I'm gonna get an open house at a different complex and be able to say the same thing in that complex with the listening and stuff like that. Because I do have quite a few buyers
Yeah.
that are some, I have a couple that want something specific that said, we'll buy it, it has to be this. We don't care what the price is.
Yeah.
But there's only a small, like maybe 10 in this complex that meet that need. So let's smell everybody.
It is expensive though. I've already checked into it, so it's
It's gotta be about
$275 to set up the account. I'm sorry, this might be liquor. I'll get that.
Yeah, so we're doing a little over 500 units right now.
Okay.
To them all, about what my buyers looking.
Great. I like it. The buyer needs is very, very good.
We did the flyers in California, the EDP,
Yeah.
or direct,
Yes,
and did it for years. I
Yeah.
don't like it. It's just a lot of money. It's
yeah, and things are different now. Like you want to get in the online game if you're going to be prospecting that way. Because most people are finding their people, their agents, their properties online. Locally though, if you do the farming and you target market to those, especially if you have a buyer, that's great. You still can do farming. So whatever those three that you pick are. Okay, so you saw this in one of the sessions that you did previously, which is your prospecting versus marketing, kind of triangle here. And we talked about this earlier today, which is, you know, why is it better to prospect? What are some of the benefits of prospecting and marketing? So we discussed some of this already. So what do we like about prospecting?
Yeah, because I'm gonna-
It's all you, Bill. Or somebody online. Which then I have to open the chat box, but I will do that. What do we like about prospecting, you guys?
I don't
Is the sound
understand which
okay?
one is which. Is the yellow one prospecting?
Can't tell if Karen's trying to talk. Is this
Lisa?
not working? How do I turn the volume up on here?
I am computer illiterate, so.
I don't see the little volume thing. It's odd. Okay, well, you can put it in the chat box on there and I can take a look at that, but we like it because it is cheap or free versus marketing. And it's proactive and your conversion rates are higher. You get immediate results because you're talking to people, you're having those phone conversations. Does it take time? Yeah, it takes time. So that's what you're investing, your time, but the payoff is good. Marketing costs money. It's passive. Doesn't mean you don't do it. The best thing, what Keller Williams says and what the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book says, is to be prospecting based and marketing.
Enhanced.
You heard this? Prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Okay. Okay, so, oh, I see somebody put something in the chat. Is the yellow marketing? Yes, it is. Karen. Okay,
Okay,
so here's some prospecting. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh,
What happened?
but I didn't, so thank you for not blessing me early, because that drives me crazy. Okay, so
I do that to him all the time.
I dropped the thing. Clint's like, what's wrong with you? All right, I thought I changed this, but then it changed back, didn't it? All right, so prospecting, phone or face-to-face, are versions of prospecting. So we talked about, you can do for sale by owners, expires. We don't have that many here, but there are some expireds. You know, some people do well with expireds. There's definitely scripts and letters for those. Circle prospecting, I've already mentioned, is one of my absolute favorites because it's so effective. You can do this in neighborhoods, specific complexes, something that was recently sold, you can call somebody on, something that was recently listed, we talked about. Community outreach, get in the community, network, volunteer, build key relationships with people that can be repeat sources for you of business and leads. So corporations, builders, banks, investors, attorneys. What's another one? Who's a good referral partner for you? What type of business or person?
Mortuaries.
For the realtors.
Other realtors from other areas, referral partners, what else? Others, islands,
Vendors.
what's that?
Vendors.
Like what, yeah, vendors, what kind of vendors?
Construction. home
Const-
Improvement.
Yep, construction.
Any vendors you do business with.
Pest control.
Pest control, real estate related stuff. What about a hairdresser? Oh, yeah, they might be a good source of
Or a
referral.
nail person.
Yep. So do you ever ask those people about referrals?
Oh, yeah, I gave her my,
Great. How do you teach her to refer you business? What do you say?
if they're interested, see if you can get their number, let me give them a call. I like being a little more.
Yeah. That's right. So if somebody mentions to you, you hear somebody talk about real estate, potentially buying or selling, whether it's here or anywhere else in the country, because by the way, I can help find them a great person to service them that I work with in my network anywhere, not just in Hawaii. So whoever you're working with and doing, and if you hear them say that, you really want to give her a specific thing.
Yeah.
Oh, are you working with somebody you're looking for? I have a client who's an outstanding agent. Can I give him your contact information? Or he can just be a great resource for you. I'll give him your number, right?
Yeah.
So just what you said. Okay. Teaching and speaking. So doing events, doing some people, there's a guy on Oahu built huge part of his business by doing seminars. We have agents here that do 1031 exchange seminars. He does them for seniors. You can do first-time home buyers. We have agents that do that here, investor seminars, something that's going to attract people that you're looking for.
I wanted to go to that 1031 exchange seminar, but there's an hour to get from there to here.
So I had a meeting with, Laura, and she's doing it next week as well. in PA.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Laura?
Yeah.
Shopner?
No.
Oh, Laura.
Mendolia.
Oh, the one who works for,
God.
oh, okay, yeah.
And
Okay.
she was telling me that they're doing,
Yeah.
the one in Key, the one in Lahaina is being done in PA next week.
At the
Yeah.
office there, okay?
Yeah. They have
Do we have
to
time then?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else? Meals, door-to-door canvassing, we talked about networking events, booths and kiosks, walk-ins, which walk-ins are conversion on walk-in, which is why we don't have a walk-in traffic office, is so minimal compared to, I mean, there's nothing compared to
Yeah.
prospecting. It's so passive. I'm just such not a fan.
Yeah.
But
called floor time or flooring or something like that.
yeah. Okay. Next. Maybe. Okay, and then on the marketing side, advertising, offline, radio, TV, newspapers, vehicles. We don't have bus stop and bench options here. We don't have billboards here. Magazines used to be really popular. Agents often thought if their seller, that their seller is an ego, wanted to be in a magazine, which in some cases was true. Once you understand how to have a conversation, and nowadays it's way easier about a seller of where their business is going to come from, where they're likely to find buyers, how you can support them in finding those people. That's not in a magazine ad. They don't care. I mean, there once in a while you'll get somebody that does, but most of the time they don't. Yellow pages. Yeah. Here's a funny story real quick. So I just hired somebody from the mainland. They moved to the Big Island to be the team leader in our office there. And she's like, I saw her yesterday or the day before, and she was like, in the office, she's like, guess what I got? Guess what showed up at my door yesterday?
No.
Yeah. She's like, yellow pages, which she doesn't get. Like, she moved from Texas. She's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You guys have yellow pages here?
It showed up on my doorstep, and I'm like.
That's why I tell people that Hawaii is 20 years behind everything else.
Yes, yeah, so hilarious. Okay, grocery carts. We do have some of those too. All the agents, I've had agents that have done things like the store stuff and
I was told there were those billboards, the TV billboards, magazine, and the shopping carts. I was told by a top agent when I was getting started, those are mostly vanity marketing.
it's an ego thing. So you always want to ask yourself when it comes to marketing, is this an ego thing that are these ego dollars I'm spending?
Yeah.
Or should I be investing these somewhere else that are actually gonna
Not
produce
for
results for me?
but just.
Yeah.
you can have the returns.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't do it, and you might talk to somebody that's like, oh, I got a client from that. Okay, great. Where would you be better off putting that money?
Yeah, there's so many other.
The question I ask myself occasionally when I see that is, how often do I even pay attention to the placard in the grocery cart or on the lane divider or whatever it is?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you about the
Yeah.
logo that was on any of.
Yeah, well, what I
Same here.
will tell you is 20 years ago, it worked better than it does today. Because we didn't have the same level of people looking at properties online and finding their properties there. So they're
Right.
not paying as much attention. If that was the only way they could find somebody, or doing print ad, because that was a time where, you talk to the old school brokerages and they've been doing this for decades. Now, granted, their business is not, they've seen a shift. So they've either adapted or they're out of the business or they're only doing a couple of deals, right? But it's, when print was the way to go, people would fly in here and they would find their realtor in the magazine or
The newspaper.
the newspaper. Not the case today, right?
Print media is dead.
Yeah,
Yes. Now, there are certain areas in the country, there may be certain exceptions to that, but in general, online advertising would be a way to go. Now you have a very competitive space there, but if you do it consistently and you're smart about it, and you do your follow-up, because the follow-up is key to online leads. Don't pay for any leads if you're not going to have a follow-up system in place, and work that conversion, because that's where you see those results. Pay-per-click advertising, fantastic. SEO, not a big fan.
Okay, why?
Unless they've already have that market share, or they're doing it at a really high level and they've got that space. To get to that space now is a lot of money and time. It's not worth the investment. Now, if you can create organic, if you're doing blogs and you're really, really consistent with that, great. If that's your specialty, great. If it's not, don't do it. I think it's a waste of money personally. And from the agents I talked to and what I've seen, there are a couple of exceptions to that where people do have that space really tied down, or they have a lot of exposure for their blog and they are getting that organic reach so that when people Google, they're going to pop up. You can buy space though with Google now. You can get remarketing. You can get, you don't have to have, and to drive a consumer to your website is also a lot more challenging today than it used to be. So they're going to use Zillow. They're going to use what is in their mind share space. So you might as well just do the other part of it, get that capture, and then you can drive that same consumer back to a separate website if you want them to use it. But they're also still going to just go to Zillow. You just want to make sure that you have that contact with them through your database, right? Social media can be extremely effective. Again, if you do it less as a passive. There's proactive ways to do social media that are phenomenal, that work. And then you have people that really, and it actually isn't that hard to create some good space in social media, but you have to be really consistent with it. So, but doing Tony Giordano's, the guy who wrote the book in the front here, system, fantastic, which is an actual lead system through social media where you create groups so you can see the same people's posts, so you can interact with them, so you can like their stuff and you can send them private messages, and then you do the same. It's lead generation. Spend an hour a day doing that every day, right?
we just got the book yesterday in the mail. We bought
The
it on
social
Amazon
agent?
last week.
2.0.
2.0. Yep. Portals, broadcast content creation, radio, TV shows, direct mail, promotional items. Okay, we got to move on because anyway, so just pick, again, what are going to be your top 3? As much prospecting as you can, and then you can enhance with marketing. Next. Prospecting plus marketing. Farming, yay, geographic and demographic, and then following up with circle prospecting. Super good. Events, open houses, but you do it proactively, as we've discussed. So you get in front of the people, and then you have a proactive approach to the process or that follow-up process. Networking, which is your sphere of past clients, allied resources agents. You're doing your quarterly calls, you're having those voice-to-voice connections, but you're also sending them stuff so that they regularly get information from you. Neighborhood nurtures, newsletters, campaigns, property searches, right? Purchased, referral networks, advertising networks, clientele. So referral networks are big. People do not maximize those as much as in general as I see the potential for them to. So think about the same way that you, and I think you mentioned this, same way that you would work your database, you work a database of agents too. In fact, even if you just put the agents that you meet and talk to in various areas, or you use the KW system to find referral partners, which is such a great tool, and you just add them to your database and do the same thing you're doing with everybody else, it's enough. It really is. It's enough to get some more referral business than you're getting and build those relationships. Put them on a quarterly call, send them a little gift once in a while, some stuff from Hawaii, go to where they're going to be, go to the KW conferences, take advantage of events. It's huge.
We're going to Georgia.
Georgia?
Yeah, that's where she sent a bunch of KW referral invites to the Georgia area.
Oh,
Right
okay.
there, and then she's baking it.
Great.
And then this week.
Have meetings.
And then we pop in our offices.
So here's a piece of advice. So you guys know Randy Antonio.
Yeah.
He is one of the best people that at least 30% of his business comes from the referral network. At least 30%, sometimes more.
Randy and
Antonio in our office.
Oh,
One of the things he does, which is very smart, which makes the difference, not just goes into the office
Sure.
and meets people. He will set appointments with the top agents in those offices. He'll call the team leader if he doesn't know people and say, hey, I'm coming. Who can I meet with in your office? Who would be a good person for me to connect with to be a potential referral partner? Oh, and by the way, I'd love to provide some value. Do you guys have a team meeting? When do you have a team meeting? Would I be able to come in and give him Maui market moment? Which he does. Stuff like that. Those are really, really big. So be purposeful is the point about when you're doing those things to actually talk to people that are going to
I like the
potentially be
team.
your referral partner.
I like the team.
Team meeting is great. He does that. So he tries to speak everywhere he goes, which is really smart. I have another agent on the Big Island that does that.
That would make it a business trip.
Yeah, so potentially, I'm not your CPA, but
yes.
yeah, and I mean, if you find something that's a value to the agents that you can teach, I have one agent on the Big Island that's been teaching a class now to multiple market centers, and he's received multiple ultra luxury referrals. He got a $10 million buyer. I think he even got a $20 million buyer referral. Picking markets and areas where it's a high price point too, which is California. So you just get in front of people and build that relationship with the agents too, because they may not have somebody here. Aha, so far since that on that section. Put ahas in the chat box, everybody online. Yes, you can give your aha. We'll
Okay,
give
my
another one.
outline is when we go back to Georgia is schedule appointments or make sure we appear, give them a call ahead of time and appear at the team meeting.
Part of Georgia,
What?
what part of Georgia?
Cherokee County.
To Woodstock, Canton area.
If you're looking for high dollar value, go to Buckhead.
Bucket,
Oh, there you go.
Buckhead.
Okay, it's a subdivision in North Atlanta.
A good
And
little
we're
tip.
going north.
Good little tip.
And on our lead generation, I really, all four things, I want to make sure that they're repeatable, scalable, not just a hit and miss. Oh, I got a buyer, you gotta sell it by accident. I want it to be something that I
Oh, yeah.
repeat. Oh, that worked.
That's
really
right.
well. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna concentrate 80% of my time over there because that's what I want to do with these four. So and if I get X amount from mailings, X amount from social media, X amount from referrals, X amount from open house, put them all together. That's 4X times for the year.
Yeah, that becomes your business plan. I mean, that's why you have the business plan with those three sources and all your strategies. And then you create systems around that and you have a marketing calendar around that and you do that every year.
Yeah.
And then you add to it and you tweak it and you start to look at your ROIs and then you figure out where you want to invest more money. it's a strategy, it's a business. It isn't, yeah, that kind of just let's see what happens and works. We're past that. We don't need that anymore because we know what works.
Right.
So we don't have to just throw things against the wall. That's where you get into trouble with inconsistency, spending money. But there are things that you might do that and try it for a while. And I mean, there's a general rule to give everything. I think it's at least 6 months, because I will get impatient if I try something that's not working and I want to stop it. And then I've had people say to me, just keep doing it. You have to do this for at least 6 months to really get a sense to see what.
Here's something funny. I have
Yeah.
a saying, a Keller Williams saying, for almost every comment that you make, we have to be consistent because you give up right, that's 3 feet before getting goal. That'll say.
That's right.
I mean, everything you say, because we.
Yeah, because your deal may come
Yeah.
right at that moment. Now, if you've done it for a year, a year's a pretty good amount of time to see what you're dealing with and to see whether, okay, can I improve this, move forward? Is this going to pay off for me? Is this just not working? Or is it me because I haven't done the work that I need to do to make it
Okay, so
work? Which is possible.
It's a little contradictory from one of the things that I've been told about farms, which is that anytime you start a farm and work a farm, you need to plan on it being a solid investment for at least 2 years.
18 months. 18 months is the farming key for our market. That is true. If you're doing farming, now here's the thing that I'll say. If you're just doing farming and you're inconsistent means less than every month, right? For sure, less than every quarter. So you want to do at least every quarter, if not every month. Here's the other thing I'd say though. Yes, it may take you longer. If you're doing farming with circle prospecting, you'll know faster than that.
Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause
Can
your
you
conversion
go
rates
over
go up.
circle prospecting one more time?
So an example would be, I'm sending something out to my farm. I've just sold a property and that's my postcard that's going out to them. I'm going to call them.
Okay,
And I'm gonna call them and say, hey, this is Lisa. I sent you, wanted to make sure that you got that postcard. Just sold is a little bit different in a script, but I'd love to sell somebody else. If you know anybody, I got to know a lot of the other, the market, the complex really well. Who else do you know that might be looking to sell? Or do you have a buyer for that complex? Or circle prospecting before your open house
all right.
and making invitations to those sellers. That's circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is I'm calling a farm in a circle. It's meant to be like a radius or geographic, but it can be a complex. It can be anything. You're basically picking an area or a group that you're going to be calling
Is
and you're
title,
prospecting.
does title have the phone numbers?
So there are title companies that work with some of the other companies that you can get numbers. However, that is a challenge, which is why it was another business that I didn't really want to start, but I had to because there was such a need. So the guy that I mentioned that teaches the classes that got the big referrals, he and I started a company, which we're in beta testing right now, but we have some clients that we're working with. We're looking how to scale it. It's all data mining because it's so hard to get accurate information. So we can do it. We know how to do it. He's really good at it.
See,
Yes,
I have the
system.
white pages but you
Yeah,
never know.
But you can ask, no, you can ask, there are title companies, there's only one, and actually, I don't even know if they use a good list anymore, but that was the problem is they were working with a couple of companies, but the data is not all great.
So how are
When
you
we get
doing
this
it?
data mining thing, it's very time consuming. You have to go, you go to multiple websites, you have to search records. But it works. I mean, we can verify that, or you can hire a company that does that for you, like Boomtown is part of their program. They'll do it. They'll verify for you. They have ISAs call them and verify that the numbers are correct, but you pay for that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we are just about done. So what I'm going to do is just kind of breeze through what we've got left so I can kind of give you little pointers and things that you want to help, that you want to focus on. So client referrals, make sure you have a system in place. We have plenty of examples within Keller Williams. You can go into command and look up stuff. Connect and look up stuff for how do you maximize getting referrals from the people that you've done business with or that are in your database. You have to ask, be purposeful about making sure there's a system in place. And when you're doing a transaction, you're going to ask multiple times during that transaction for referrals. Agent to agent referrals, we talked a little bit about. Maintain the relationship, grow that database just like you would with the rest of your database, and then you're going to manage it and keep in contact with that. A reminder, this is a phenomenal tool no other company has, is a way for you to find a referral network and be very specific about who you want to create as a referral partner in whatever area you want to do that. So if you're not sure how to do it, get with Clint. let him show you how, but it's amazing. And if anybody's looking. Really? I've used it multiple times. Once you know how to get in there and search, so like you just go and you search for that area, it gives you a thing, you can do it by units or volume.
I'll show you before we leave.
I have a referral agreement right now with the brokerage in Southeast Idaho. To
Yes,
sell property from my father-in-law, but it took me probably a couple hours to figure out how to figure out what I needed, how I needed, where I could figure things out, and even then, it didn't provide me all the information that I would have preferred to have, so.
Can you tell
So-
me just about the referral?
to find the people that you needed to find in there, like for a partner.
Find a good referral partner.
Yeah, I would go through the, like, I don't know if there's still Loom video on it. Latasha had done one before, but maybe Clint can do one where you just watch like the little thing and this is how you do it, but maybe get with him and get the specific questions answered and then practice it and go through it a couple more times because yeah, I mean, at first when it came out, it took me a while to find the right information, but now I go in there and it's pretty easy. I've used it many times now.
I mean, I don't think I'm a stupid person, but it's
No,
maybe.
yeah. You know, yeah, go in there and it's maybe one of those things, once you do it and you're like, okay, sometimes the mapping gets a little funky, like where it doesn't show up and then you have to go out and come back in and zoom, stuff like that. But worldwide also, don't forget that we have opportunities to refer in other countries as well. Business referrals, we could do a whole class. I think this is a very big missed opportunity here.
We're taking advantage of it.
Good. Huge opportunity. I tried to get an agent several times in our office to run the vendor program in our office, because if it were me and I was selling every day, I would have done it because it's a huge opportunity. You create vendor relationships, you build your referral network, your business of local businesses here. It's a no-brainer for me. So I think you should do it on your own. Okay, let me just go through the rest of this. Geographic farming, we talked about that. That's your radius based on specific area. We pretty much talked about most of this, maximizing that. I started with that today. Events and seminars, we talked about that. Leads are everywhere. We talked about everywhere you go and having these conversations and what to say when you hear. And then capture every lead, obviously getting them into your database, putting them into a plan, a smart plan. We talked about that. So my favorite, every single contact in your database, which by the way, the data mining company will do this too, because it's the best, it's the most effective, which is complete contact card, neighborhood nurture. So everybody goes on a neighborhood nurture, either in their area where they live or where they're looking or both. Monthly newsletter, quarterly call campaign.
Is that listed somewhere all that?
No, I'm just telling you that those are the best.
Could you
I mean, they are, because that's what we teach in all the classes.
say
but-
that one more? Okay, wait, what do I title it? So I know, because.
What to do with every contact in your database. Complete contact card. So as much information as you can put in there, which includes name, address, where they live, social profiles, phone number, email, minimum name, email, and phone number. Okay, that's your minimum, but complete the whole contact card if you can.
Okay,
Put everybody on a neighborhood nurture
neighborhood.
and learn about that. Clint can teach you if you don't know what that is.
Nurture.
Quarterly call campaign. Everybody goes on a quarterly call campaign. And then my other suggestions would be a monthly newsletter, which could also, there's so many opportunities and things you can do with that. By the way, Aloha Real Estate Solutions will do one for you.
Virtual.
What was that?
Aloha Real Estate Solutions. And what did I say? Quarterly call, neighborhood nurture, newsletter, full contact card. Yeah, and then you can add other smart plans. The quarterly call campaign is a smart plan, but you can add other ones too. And then you're going to put them on an active search if they're looking for property as well, of course, but some of these people aren't.
We are not utilizing.
I said you like 500 times. I told people to you like 500 times today. So you're gonna get some information. Okay. So these are the things that it suggests. This is in your book. And that's pretty much it, I think. And then the success system you go through every single time, which is your 10, 10, 10. Okay, who's gonna read this last one?
Somebody online.
Somebody online, read this last slide. I yelled as though they can't hear.
We can't.
I will.
Oh yeah, I can't hear you. Karen's probably doing it. That's right. The volume's not up. She is saying I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in relationship with me. That's a good little motto every day that you could say. Okay, we're not doing role playing here. Prepare your conversation list. This is real play update. Yeah, because this is only an hour, but that's what you would be doing if this was the normal length class, which I think is like 2.5 hours or something. Prepare for your next session, keep every lead. All right, ahas.
Can you go back to that last quote real quick?
Yes,
It's not in the handout.
yes. Oh, it's not? Okay,
At least I can see it.
there you go. Okay, give me your number one top takeaway of and something you're gonna implement.
I'm blocking.
Time blocking.
I mean, it makes me feel stupid.
Oh, but what do you implement then? What are you gonna implement?
Not being stupid.
You're not stupid. I'm going to.
Doing what you need to do to learn it so that you can do it with confidence.
Feels
Right.
stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I'm going to focus on getting all of the contacts in command.
fantastic. Karen, anybody online put in the chat box your aha?
Sounds a little stalkery-ish. I have found that just looking people up online to find out and just looking for their contact.
Oh, I'm big on
Do
stalking.
that. You should stalk everybody.
I'm big on stalking.
Never,
I stalked the guy that did the thing last week while we were here in class.
Don Harris.
Oh, yeah, Don. Who, he's a great example of a social media.
Yeah.
He's done a great job.
His social media class is pretty.
so the one thing we learned, that I learned prior was the saying that goes, I never lost a client because I followed up too much with them, but I did lose clients because I didn't.
Oh, that's great. I love that saying. That's awesome. And it's so true.
It is true.
People will not tell you, I mean, until, and that's the thing, it's like you just keep following up and they're normally, it's like this fear that people have in their head about bothering people. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you only think that because you're dealing with this stuff every day and it's in your head. They're not, they get busy, they have a life. So when you follow up, they really appreciate it. I tell everybody, like I had a guy call me every single day this last week because I had put something online because I was looking at information about this was an investment property opportunity, which I really want to do, but I'm looking, the money's going somewhere else, but man, I want to do it. It's incredible. By the way, you know, any accredited investors, anybody that has 100 grand, they want to invest in something right now, there's a great opportunity. So anyway, I wanted more information on it. I filled it out. He sent it to me, 'cause it's in Texas. And he's called me every single day to follow up with me. Well, I already knew, I realized that I'm not gonna be able to do it because I'm gonna put the money somewhere else, but I really appreciate it. Today, I texted him, I emailed him back. Thanks so much for following up. I really appreciate that you did that with me every single day.
Yeah.
And that's how most people feel when it's something they're interested in, right?
Yeah.
We had our marketing guy call us today because we've been slacking on it. And he's like, I'm just following up. I don't want to bug you. And we're like, no, thank God you called us because we need you. to
That's
follow
how
up."
most people feel. And guess what? It's worse when they go, well, they never called me back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be that person. It's worse.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, you guys, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Great class.
Yay,
Yeah, we could use more.
awesome. Well, just keep implementing little things every time, you know, just keep implementing and
We do.
you will get those transactions will start to just trickle in more and more.
The time blocking is gonna be, I'm gonna start off nice and easy.
That's it. So who's your accountability partner, not each other?
Right.
That is going to make sure you implement the time blocking in the next 7 days.
You're not doing.
Who are you gonna tell after this class to be your accountability partner and to check back with you within 7 days to say, did you implement your time blocking?
Yeah, I have to pick somebody,
Sarah's calling me.
not you, Tracy. So I don't need you.
Yes, not you guys, not with each other. You don't wanna do that. Somebody.
Yeah.
So you're all done then.
Yeah.